Look at
How are you, dude?
I'm all right. It's getting just craziness, heat, old age. Since
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
year older than most of the people in their class.
yeah. How old are you?
In November I'll be 75.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm
Yeah,
a year older.
yeah, just one.
Just that's courtesy of second grade at Camp Springs Elementary.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but I was what was I? I was not of age for first grade because at that time they had no kindergarten, and so I got through first grade, but second grade was not good. I stuttered bad.
You
Whenever,
you say you stuttered?
oh yeah, oh yeah, I stuttered
Yeah,
real
that's
bad.
that's that's tough. That's tough.
Um, and I think it was just due to uh, trying to read, um, because during the summer between first and second grade, they had to read some book and with my parent and say, yeah, well, he did it, that kind of deal. But it happens. So what's up with you?
Oh, let's see. What's up with me? I'm still a caregiver. My wife hurt her foot and had an operation on her foot,
Uh,
and then and then the screws broke, and she had to have another operation. Now
uh,
now she has a lead foot with a whole bunch of screws and plates in it, and
uh,
she's hobbling around. She's been on it for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months.
yeah, that's
So,
rough. I
well, it is, but she's getting good care and from her physicians and that sort of thing.
Well, some 25 or 30 years ago, I was still up in Clinton. I heard some gunshots came out of my basement where I was living, and to see who the heck was firing because it was a brand new housing development at the time, and didn't see anybody. Turned around, started back down the basement, and slipped.
Mm.
Broke my right leg, right just above the ankle, just above the
Ooh,
ankle.
ooh, both bones.
Uh, no, I only think it was the outside one, the tibia, fibia, fibula. I guess that's the one on the outside. Anyhow,
Yeah, it's the tibia and fibula.
yeah. Well, anyhow, I was in a cast for God knows too long, and that's
Yeah,
hell when you try and take a shower or get a bath or something like that.
yeah. Well, we used to have to wrap our casts in plastic bags or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
protect them.
yeah.
But they got they. I had I I broke my leg in the senior year of high school, or I shouldn't say it that way. John Carroll broke my leg when Richard Brown failed to move his man,
Mm. Yeah,
and
well, that happens. You know, that happens. You know,
yeah, it
even
just
though,
took me I don't know what, 6 weeks for it to heal.
yeah,
I was on
well,
crutches.
yeah. I just thinking, it's funny because I went out for the football team And unlike a lot of the other guys who had played boys club ball, I was new to it, and myself and Kenny Flynn, we both went out for it, and we both got cut. Well, remember those? I don't know if you Beaver would have a uh, not a flag, not a touch football game out there, but every now and then he played on the other team, and
Hmm.
he come around one end, and both me and Flynn hit him at the same time, and drove his ass into the ground. And
Double
they,
team, huh?
yeah, and he said, "Well, why didn't you two go out for the football team?" We just turned around and looked at him and said, "We did, but you cut us." You know, so that's a story, and I, I think about it sometimes, especially when I'm thinking about Kenny.
Well, at
And
least you tried. That's the
hey,
important thing.
well, yeah, well, you remember shit, I forget the guy's name, the quarterback for Beaver had him a quarterback from the University of Maryland. I want to say
What?
Shine. Beaver had a quarterback from the University of Maryland when we were having tryouts, and I think his name
Oh,
was
Dick
Shiner.
Shiner? Dick
Yeah,
Shiner. You said Shine, and I
yeah,
remember the name Dick Shiner.
yeah. I believe it was him. So I don't know who the hell he thought he was throwing a football to, but I ran out on the pass route and cut across, turned around, and there was the ball, and it hit me right dead square in the chest and damn near knocked me off my feet. But it went up in the air because I wasn't looking for it.
Well, I tell you what, when when I went to Maryland and played with those guys from DeMatha and uh, St. John's, and they threw when you caught a football, it stung your hands.
Yeah,
That's how hard they didn't throw a lob; they threw it straight,
great. Yeah,
and it was a whole nother dimension,
yeah.
really.
I didn't make the football team, but my son did. But
Good,
yeah,
good.
he was he was a freshman, and they had him instead of being on the freshman team, they had him on the regular team,
The varsity.
the varsity team. Instead of on the JV team, he was on the varsity team after about 3 games on the JV, and that's where he played for the next couple of years.
Super.
Yeah,
What position did he play?
center,
Center.
center, hard
Tough,
nose.
tough,
But you go,
tough job.
yeah, but you could always tell where he was. Streaming red hair coming out from behind the helmet.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew exactly where he was.
I wanted to share with you. I don't know how to describe the story, but the, do you remember Greg Spalding and Al Greenup?
Uh, Al Greenup. Sure.
Al came into Surrattsville from Florida. He played high school football in Florida, and he came to Maryland and tried out. And for some reason, those two boys didn't make the team, or they didn't stay. I don't know what it was, but in 1968, no, 67, I was my parents had picked me up at Fort Bragg after I graduated from basic training,
Yeah,
and
Fort Bragg. You know that place.
yeah, and there were we had an old Plymouth station wagon. Well, it wasn't old then, but my dad was driving, my mom was in the middle, and I was on the shotgun. That's how wide those cars were.
Yeah.
And we were driving up a dual lane highway, and I saw these two Green Berets hitchhiking on the highway. And I was about to flip them the bird. And it turns out Green Berets, right? It was Al Greenup and Greg Spalding.
Well, the thing of it is that Uh, when I left Vietnam, well, there was a guy that left before me because do you know the initiator on a Claymore mine?
Mm.
The hand initiator?
And I'm not familiar with Claymore other than it was bent and it had legs.
Right.
I never had to set any up except in OCS.
Well, you just took and wrapped part of the once you put the fuse in, you wrap the cable around one of the legs,
Right.
and then set it down, and you came back and you had the initiator on it. Well, he was out on guard duty on the perimeter there in Cu Chi, and he had the the fuse detonator, whatever, in one hand, the fuse in one hand, and the detonator in the other. Well, a detonator has a flip safety on it, but there's also a safety block that you can put in and click it to see if you got a current. But you have to have the switch on safe. He clicked it, and he didn't have the block on safe.
Blew his hand off?
No, blew out part of his arm.
Yeah.
And he took most of it. It blew out like this part of his arm, right in here, part of it. And he had a lot of shrapnel in the chest and in his face. Guy named Stevens. Never will forget that. I know why I remember his name. He's at Brown Station Road, Atlanta, Georgia.
Is that what is
Brown,
that where he was from?
That's why I remember his name, because he lived on Brown Station Road in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin was a shake and bake sergeant, and he was operating a what do you call 50 cal from the cupola, and he took a 50 cal right through here.
I never fired a 50 cal. Fired a 30, air-cooled 30, fired the regular M60. I had an M14 A2, which had the switch on the side so it could be automatic. And that crazy ass stock with the pistol grip on it. But you know, crew serve weapons. I was the armorer in the battalion, among other things. But the thing of it is, you really weren't doing anything. I mean, you may have to try to get a shell out of a bore, but the
you mean a spent casing?
Yeah, M14s didn't jam that much. All right, it's not like the M16s when they first got over there.
Right.
They were just nasty when they first got over there because they didn't chrome the receivers and barrels. Once they did that, no more problems. And you'd think they'd know because they chromed the M2s, not the M2s, the M1 carbines. They were predominantly from in the Pacific War, the lightweight M1s, the carbines, and they were chromed receivers.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the AK? I've never held one. I understand they're a pretty rugged weapon.
Nasty piece of shit. I mean, that's the only way I could. You can put mud down the barrel in receiver and put a round in it, and it will fire. It will fire and keep firing.
Yeah. Pretty reliable weapon.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like our somebody's going down the road. That's why he's barking.
Yeah, we got the same thing, only higher pitch.
But the M60 is actually based off the German World War II machine gun. is what it's based off of.
I'm sorry, the M60?
The M6, Moose, thank you. The M60 machine gun is based off the German World War II machine gun. But ours don't fire as fast as the German one did.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting.
Excuse me, Dick, I'll be right there.
Sure.
Oh, I just closed the door. It cuts down on some of the noise, background noise.
Bob Jeter,
Yeah.
he recommended a book to me. What's it called? Death Traps, and it's in trying to think of what you call it, Kindle form, and it's been around. It's 1990 something. Anyway, it's about World War II. It's about a tanker, not tanker. Yeah, well, an army. I got a tickle. An ordnance officer who was the liaison for one of the combat groups in the 3rd Armored Division.
Ooh.
And his job was to go from the front where the battle was, take a damage report back to the Ordnance Battalion in the rear. And because the Ordnance Battalion wasn't following that close to the front, they had to go through a lot of enemy who were bypassed. All right, so it's a memoir that starts in England, goes through D-Day and on into the end of the war in Europe. And it's just really, really technical. He's done a lot of research, and he probably saw more action or saw more of the war than any other human being, because, he had to, what was really interesting was he had to memorize his route back to the rear, and then figure out where his forces had gone after he left. So he'd be gone for a day or two,
and they move.
And they would be attacking somewhere else, and they were going hither and yon. He had to figure it all out. And this is what was wild. They put their Jeep window down so it wouldn't glare. They put a blanket over it or something like that. They did not run with running lights. They didn't run with any kind of lights. They used starlight and the trees on the side of the road at night and they drove at 60 miles an hour where they could.
Well,
some crazy batshit stuff.
That's where the wire cutter and posts come up on the front of the Jeeps, and why they come up on the front of the Jeeps. Choppers fly with them too.
Yeah.
Hueys, Loaches, they usually have one up on the top. I'll never forget the day we picked up Billy Adams in Fung Tao, not Fung Tao. Anyhow, we picked him. He was getting a ride up to Cu Chi because his brother-in-law was in our outfit up there, and he came up to.
Yeah, you picked him up in a chopper, right?
Right. Wild ride. When he pulled that camera out, those guys in the front seat went nuts down on the rice paddies, and here we go. One damn tree at the end of the damn rice paddy. Damn if he didn't hit it with the skids right in the top. He pulled out of it, but Jesus.
Yeah, I could just see you tumbling over.
Well, the one that bothered me was we were going from it was the last 30 months I was in Vietnam, because my replacement was already in. They put me on courier flight. So
Uh-huh.
I was flying from Cu Chi to a place called Phu Loc or Phu Loy. I forget which. I think it's Phu Loc, to Tan Son Nhut, to LBJ. That's Long Binh, or because that's where the big stockade is. LBJ, Long Binh Jail, and then turn around and come back the other way, going back up. But wild times, man. I got a lot of wild times. The worst one that I ever was, we came out of Phu Loc over a rice paddy field. We were up, I guess 1,000 feet or so, maybe a little more. And the waist gunner, the side gunner that I was sitting next to, pulled the M60 up, and the next thing I know, we're just spiraling down. I'm looking down at the ground through the side of the helicopter as we're spiraling down. We get down to maybe about 50 or so feet, and the little guy in the hat waves his hand, and we go on.
That is amazing. I'm trying to see if I can find out. Usually they have a timer on, and I don't see it.
I was a little late coming in.
That's okay. You know what's interesting? What's interesting is I came on at 25 after, and I just realized that the timer only kicks on when we have more than two people.
Well, it's at
Yeah.
5:09 right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I got.
No,
So what kind of a computer setup do you have? Are you working off a desktop and a webcam, or?
no, it's well, no, it's a regular desktop computer with a camera I got sitting up on top. And
Yeah, I've got a webcam on
this
top
is
of mine, but it's a piece of crap. It
this
doesn't.
uh
Go ahead.
wait a minute. This is Logitech.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the
Yeah.
the camera and the microphone in it. I've had it for God, I don't know how long now. But I used to run two computers tied together and just on a switch. There's also, and I could actually bring them both up on my display at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to watch, to move a file from one computer over to the other and watch it get there. But
Yeah, my wife just bought me a new 27-inch iMac, and I had an old iMac that's 5 or 6 years old, and I'm gonna cable them together and use the second one for a second screen, and then if I want to, I can. Whoop! I just lost you into the ether. I was gonna grab you and slide you over to the other screen. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm just really pleased with the quality of this machine, and
this is an old HP. I had Dells at work, and they were never very impressive. They just didn't.
the Dell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people that had problems with them. I know,
really.
yeah, one guy, uh, he does, he writes books. Um, and he spent something like $8,000 on the greatest what's wall Dell computer. Got it in, plugged it up, and it just died right there. And he's had a hard on about Dell computers ever since. And I know
What?
when I had them at work, I didn't really like them.
Yeah. Now I started off with Windows-based machines, and you and I started. Well, I was always in graphics and graphic arts and mapping and things like that. And I remember looking back and realizing that I started using computers before there was JPEG, before it was invented.
Well, it's like
What was,
um, I still have, well, not on this machine, but on my laptop, which is now dead, Adobe Illustrator. And on this one, I have Corel Draw up to 17, but I use it for junk. I haven't had a real good time using the graphics packages because I've never really had time to sit down and just mess with them to find
yeah,
out.
you have to explore them.
Yeah, no,
I started off with Corel Draw because it was cheaper than the
Adobe.
Adobe products. But you know what was the what's the Adobe video editor? I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it got so complex. You know,
Well,
it just really made it too hard to use.
with me, it was draw a line and then bend it with Adobe. So, but then I
Yeah,
was doing, just trying to work out graphics and stuff like that for models.
yeah,
Nothing more.
yeah. I thought of you. I found some of my pictures from the Naval Academy ship models.
Yeah.
I mentioned that when you were on before, and I wish I had known you were coming on. I would have scanned some of them to show you online here. It's
Well, no,
really cool stuff.
I've been, I missed you the last couple of weeks because I've been hung up doing something else at the time and mainly cleaning up after this dog, because I got dog food all over the house because he doesn't want to eat his dog food, the stuff that he's been eating since day one. And that's my fault because I got him eating human food. And now I'm trying to get him back off.
Hmm.
And he just doesn't like, I don't know if it has something to do with the smell of the stuff or what. So pork rinds, the fluffy ones,
Hmm.
I break a couple of those up into powder and mix it up in his dog food, and he just gobbles it right up.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever. I might use that. We have the same problem. Our dog, little dogs have a tendency to lose their teeth,
Hmm.
and ours has had two surgeries for two teeth extractions. In any event, I I buy ground, or I buy chuck and grind it, or pork butt and grind it for the dog because it's cheaper than dog food. And so, but it's time consuming, and I'm just playing. So,
Yeah,
but then I have to cook it, and then the dog. So she
yeah.
likes those bacon. They're like bacon treats,
Mm.
and I have to sprinkle a couple of those, break them up, and put it in her food before she gets her nose down in it to eat it.
Well, I don't know if he's got a soft mouth or whatever it is that might be causing him to have problems with this stuff. Uh,
Yeah,
I wouldn't think so because Bassets are pretty, they're hunters. They'll kill anything, as he proved to me when I first time I took him out in the backyard. But it's just a thing of just trying to get him to eat now. And God, we must have had an hour and a half of him running through the house last night. I finally found a toy that he hasn't been able to tear up. And it's a starfish or a star, whatever you want to call it. It's got a face on one side, and I think it's made out of Kevlar. I think it's made out of Kevlar, and it's yellow and it's got a blue band around it, around the edges. He hadn't been able to tear this up yet. But anyhow.
So how old is your dog?
He'll be 1 year old the 26th of November.
Mm. So I find that when I don't want to eat, that I have stomach problems, and that's what we found with our dog. Is if they eat whenever they're hungry or whenever they feel like eating.
Yeah. Well,
plus dogs are scavengers.
Yeah, dogs don't have a regular schedule, no matter how you try. I mean, I put food out there. If he doesn't eat it, it stays out there. It's dry food. I'm not worried about it, other than maybe the lizard getting in there and taking a piece and running across the floor with it. I live in Florida. Come on.
Yeah.
And but I keep it, make sure he has water and make sure he's food. Right now, he's up on the couch in the sunroom, looking out the back window. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
we can't let our dog out in the backyard because we have hawks.
Very small dog.
Yeah, like 5 to 7 pounds, depending on age.
Oh no, he's 41.
Very small.
He's 41 pounds.
Yeah,
and,
like a small child.
Yeah, and he's got a pull like a bulldog. I mean, he just. Yeah, I'm getting that way too, Dick. It's about time for me to run. Oh, I did want to ask you if you're going to watch. What is it? Fox tonight. I've been watching The Masked Singer, but I want to see this show coming on right after it with the puppets. That's political satire.
Oh, I didn't know about it. What puppets? It's not the Muppets, is it?
No. Years ago, they had a puppets that in England that they did satire with. These are like foam heads and that they're not smooth. They're kind of made out of foam rubber. The head, and they make them to look like just semi look like the person that they're doing, and then they go from there.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
my sinuses cause me to feel sleepy.
I don't have that anymore. Well,
yeah, do since you're into modeling, have you ever watched the Aardman animators? They did Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, have you seen their sets? Their sets are humongous, and they're all stop action.
They're like they're probably around 1/12 scale. The case of the were rabbit.
Yeah.
The something about the pants.
Yeah, the wrong trousers.
Wrong trousers. There you go. The one that got me was when Gromit was out on that model train and he's laying track just as fast as he can up on the engine.
Yeah.
So it can go around.
I like when they built a rocket, went to the moon so they could have cheese.
Oh, I think I missed that one. But they also did Rocket Rooster movie.
Which one?
The Rocket Rooster.
Rocket Rooster. I haven't seen that one.
It's a movie.
Yeah. Is that Aardman or is that the same characters?
No, it's the same studio, but not the
Yeah.
same characters.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
had,
I'm trying to remember the one with the rooster. Was it called Rocket Rooster?
well, I think he called himself Rocket Rooster, but
Oh, Rocky.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that one where where it was like a World War II theme and he was busting the hens out of the
right, there you go.
compound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, I
Yeah, I like
remember.
that.
That was a good one. Yeah.
But
Um, did you watch cartoons when you were a kid?
um, no, but I preferred animation. Not a lot, you know. Um,
What's your favorite kind of animation?
I don't know. It used to be Disney Studios. 'Cause
2D?
I do like Disney, Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Um, I by the time they got up doing Sleeping Beauty, it was lost because then they were starting to Xerox the cells um, that they painted. Um, Jungle Book was okay. I mean, I didn't care for that. And then there was when the one they did about Robin Hood
That was funny.
and Prince John, Prince John the Lion. Yeah. Um, but Pixar Studios, I like theirs.
Oh,
They're,
they're great. I love Toy Story.
well, they also did. I don't know if they did Hero 6 or not. Um, but Pixar Studios, there's some Japanese anime I like. Uh, superheroes. Uh,
I can't get into anime.
well, it depends. Now I've got a series. I've got every one of a series called Full Metal Alchemist,
Mm.
but I also have the full length movie that went with it. So that ties all this stuff together, and it's really weird.
How
Uh,
about how about Rocky and Bullwinkle? Bullwinkle.
didn't care for the last movie. The cartoons were okay. What I liked was what was the two guys? Something in not Sherman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Edgar. That's something you don't see every day. Edgar. What's that? It was a little piece that they put in the Rocky and Bullwinkle things, or in
I don't
Sherman.
remember that one. How about Danger Mouse? Did you ever watch Danger Mouse?
No.
It's a British production. You ought to Google it and see. It's like a 007. He's a white mouse and he's got penfold. It's sort of like
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I may have seen one or two of it.
yeah. Penfold is like the Dr. Watson type.
Um, I'm trying to think of what else I've seen lately. Uh, Wreck-It Ralph I saw. That was pretty good. I didn't see Wreck-It Ralph 2. Um, the ones with my buddy back there on the shelf. The Minions.
Oh yeah,
Despicable Me,
yeah.
Despicable Me 2,
Did,
3.
did you see the one? I don't know who produced this, but it's called Flushed Away.
Mm.
It's a the character I guess is a mouse who was in a cage like a bird cage, and his owners went on vacation, and he got left behind and fell in the toilet and went down into the sewer system. His he was a snooty mouse, and because his owners were in Kensington, which is a nice part of London. Anyway, it was really cool. Uh, good
Ratatouille.
story, huh?
Ratatouille.
Oh, I like the character. As a matter of fact, I bought a Ratatouille to show my grandkids, and just the movie wasn't as good as the character,
Hmm.
but the story was okay. But
I was trying to think of what the name of that box set I got. I got two of them. One is on the war in Europe. Oh, Band of Brothers.
hmm
It was a good movie, good set of movies. And then the
yeah,
other one was The Pacific, which was on the
yeah.
other. That was a good movie also.
You know, when Judy and I decided to go to Europe, we were going to go to France, and I knew absolutely nothing about France. And so we started watching all the Rick Steves and Rudy
Mhm.
Maxa and all those guys. And then we really started to get serious, and we went into. I'm leading up to something, but we did 2 years of research on France, what made France France, and we started back with the Roman Empire and Gaul, and worked our way up through World War II. And what was really cool was that I was able to go on YouTube and look at the German submarine, the Kriegsmarine, the submarine battle
And
concepts from
the
the
Hobbs
German point of view. And then I was able to go and look at it from, videos from the American side. And what was really interesting was convoys were poo-pooed on by the U.S. Navy brass early on,
yeah.
but both Judy's dad was a sonar man on a destroyer, and my dad was on a cruiser who was hunting submarines in the South Atlantic.
Yeah.
And
And and it was a different war because the escort carriers that were in the North Atlantic were painted different from the escort carriers that were in the South Atlantic, and the aircraft were painted different too.
why was that? Different
Because
weather patterns?
yeah, I think so. I think it was darker in the South Atlantic.
Really?
Yeah, more open
Huh.
space, darker. Of course, I wouldn't think it would be, down in the Caribbean and in Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, both her dad's ship and my dad's eventual ship were both moored up in Cuba.
Hmm.
Um,
Guantanamo Bay or Havana.
I don't remember exactly where they were. Um, one of the cool things was that her father did a lot of genealogy, and in his paperwork, he had two pieces of onion skin that were typed in all caps. They were just complete. It was the description of what the USS Summers, which was the destroyer, did between May of 1944 and October of 1944. And they had taken a convoy to Great Britain, went to Scotland, came back down, participated in D-Day. 2 weeks later, they went around. I guess they went around to Italy and refitted, and then came back up and participated in the southern invasion of France. And I didn't even know that there was a southern invasion of France.
Yeah,
That, I,
yeah, yeah,
nobody told me. Yeah,
yeah. That's when you took over the mafia home. What the hell's the name of that island? Right off the coast of Italy,
Sicily. You
Sicily.
talk about Sicily.
Yeah, they cleaned up. They sent the Germans home from North Africa. They they came across for Sicily, and from Sicily they went to um, Italy, and then from there they southern France through the Vichy. In fact, they killed a lot of French naval personnel early in the war that were aligned with the Vichy French in the French harbors. And they just,
That was
British just,
Churchill did that.
Churchill just wiped the hell out of their navy.
Well, he was afraid that the Germans would take the French ships, and the
Mm.
French wouldn't scuttle them. The French wouldn't, leave the French ports. The
Yeah,
French brought that on themselves, I'm afraid.
yeah, I think so too. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so Dick, I'm going to cut you loose. Been out here
Well,
for
thank you.
near an
Thanks for
hour.
showing up.
I hate to say this, but I get lonely from time to time.
Sure,
So,
sure.
just being me and the dog now. I
Well,
mean,
that's exactly why I'm here every Thursday, because it's coronavirus time
yeah,
instead of Corona beer time.
yeah. Actually, I
Yeah.
like Coors Light.
Oh God. Oh
A very
Jesus.
light Pilsner. I
Yeah.
can't stand any heavy beers. Of course, I do have a tendency to go with Seagram's Crown Royal. Crown, and that's not being a cheap drunk neither.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
course,
I can't afford that kind of booze.
well, when I was in service in Vietnam, I could get a fifth of 10 high whiskey for $1.10 or something like that,
What was the brand?
called 10 high.
Who makes that?
Hell if I know. It was like drinking, well, Bom Ni Ba was the Vietnamese beer,
Oh, okay.
which stands for 33. And they had a cognac that was 55. Take a shot of that cognac, which is supposed to be sipping whiskey anyhow, and it burned all the way down. You take the second one, you didn't care after that. I mean, it just turned your mind upside down and left you going blind.
Have you ever had Applejack?
I've had White Lightning.
Yeah.
I had an uncle
Um,
who could make it.
it's really interesting in Normandy. I'm trying to remember. It's called Calvados. Calvados is like really expensive over here, but um, there's a family that supplied Applejack or apple brandy for General Washington's troops.
Yeah.
And do you have time for a quick story about Washington and his booze, or we can save it for later?
Well, I really got to get back in there looking and see what the hell he's tearing up right now. So
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna
Remind me to tell you the story about George Washington's mill and his 5-pot still. Okay.
Washington's bill and what?
Washington's mill,
Washington's bill.
grist mill,
Grist
flour
mill.
mill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on Mount Vernon.
yeah, Mount Vernon. It's worth the trip across the river, let me tell you. It really
Hey,
is.
I got one for you quick because I got this thing that I turn into every day, and it has like thing for the day. What is the national? What is this the sport of the state of Maryland? The official sport of the state of Maryland?
I would assume lacrosse.
Wrong. Got to
Well,
go back
shoot me
further.
then.
Got to go back further than that, Dick.
I have no idea.
Jousting.
Oh, okay.
Ever been to? Well, I don't know. I was going to say, you ever been to Marshall Hall when the state championships were on?
No.
Because they have those four. They have this runway. That's the best way I have to describe it. Fenced on both sides, and at thirds down there is an overhang. that holds a little steel ring. You come
Yeah, I
flying,
have mental images of it.
and you come flying down there on your horse and try to spear all
Yes,
three rings.
spear that ring. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Some great memories here, Mr. Brown. Great memories.
Well, I have a few from back there, some not so good.
Good, good. All right. Well, let me see if I can find those photos again, and maybe I'll have time to scan them. But I think you would really enjoy them because they're not online. I wish they put them online.
Well, well, Dick, I'm gonna cut you loose.
Okay. See you later.
All right, bye.
Look at it.